the channel US30 masters. So just be looking at US30 today. What can we be looking forward to? So I'll just quickly start again on the daily. So on the daily chart, I'll just be using repetitions on what has been currently happening. We saw a big jump there, breaking the major trend. So I see we headed for this low, for this high there. And if we check that high, what's the time? Let me check. I think the key level was the 35,000. Let me do it at 35,000 key level. Okay, we see the 35,000 still. We didn't break it. We closed right below it. And if we check the date there, the date there is the 15th. So let me just note it down. Which one is it? Is it this one? Yeah. So let me just note it down, the 15th. And also there, it's the 15th. So if you check, the 15th came and rejected there, and we see it coming back there, coming to a retest. So we see the 15th rejected there on Wednesday, right there. And then we see again here, which is a Friday, the 15th rejected exactly there. So we see the 15th rejecting there, and it came again. We saw that the 15th failed to break again the 35,000 key level. And let me check the 16th, the 15th. So we see here, if you see on this side there, let me just use a different arrow. If you check there, the 15th that happened on a Tuesday. So if you check there, the 15th that happened on a Tuesday, we saw a break. So this kind of 15 closed below it, and then we saw the market continuing for sales. And then we see when the 15 came there, it failed to break, but just touched and came back for sales. And we're seeing a very similar thing again there, that the 15 came and then it managed to close below. So just looking at the bigger picture, I see that here the 15th broke, it gave us sales, failed to break, give us sales, failed to break, might also give us sales. But let me check maybe on the side. Let's check. Okay, I'm going way far now. This is the last one. No 15 here. Jump dates. What was happening? There we jump dates. Okay, here's another one. So we see the 15 came there again, as you can see. So that's the 15th. So let me just quickly note it down. What was I using? I have to make it a star. I don't struggle looking for it. So we see again there. So if you check that date there, again it was the 15. We see the 15 came there, but it closed below again the 35,000 key level. As you can see, it closed below it. And then on the 16, yeah, we just saw a push to the upside, but we cut it, and then we managed to see sales. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end it there with the examples. But we see that the 15 plays a really major role when it comes to a 35,000 key level. You see it there again, failed to break, and then we saw sales, and we saw it where again. Okay, here we saw a break, and then just a retest and continued for sales. Here it failed to break the 15th. As you can see, it came with a short, but it just touched it, and then it continued for sales. And then now we're seeing it here again. The 15 came strong, and then it failed to break. So we might be seeing sales. We might be, depending on how it closes. So as you can see, there's the 16th, which is today. We saw that none of it, the next day, the day did not close above this. It did not close above it, but it closed below it. So we see that even if it did give us buy the next day, it closed below the 35,000 key level. So at the moment, that's what we're seeing on the daily chart. And after I'm done with the daily chart, spotting my powerful resistance, this could be the decider of us seeing long buys or seeing long sells, depending on how the day closes. But let's jump to lower time frame. So after I'm done with my daily, I'll jump to my 3-hour time frame. So if I look at my 3-hour time frame, I see that we've been in a consolidation at this area there. See a consolidation at that area there. That's a nice consolidation. Okay, see a consolidation there. Market just been playing around, and then we see that we are respecting this zone multiple times. This is called the 3-hour zone. That was not a perfect touch, but that's the zone that we currently. So we saw it being retested multiple times there at the bottom. So it was respected many times. So we respected it once there, and then we respected it again right here, and it seems like we came to respect it again. Oh, that's happening now. That's happening. Sorry guys, sorry. So it seems like we came to retest it also again there. So this is currently the major support that on the 3-hour time frame that we are currently respecting multiple times. So respected it kinda many times, 1 2 3. So in order for me to say let's conclude that we're going to sell, because we kind of might be seeing sells, at least let's see us breaking this strong support there, which is the 34,870 price level. So maybe once we see a break to the downside, that's when I could say, yeah, the sales are kind of becoming more clearer for us to take the sales. But yeah, at the moment, we're still seeing this area as a strong resistance when we come to the 3 hours. And moreover, if you look at how this thing is currently moving, yes, it is creating higher highs and higher lows. We haven't gotten to a place where we broke the lower low. At the moment, we're still in an uptrend. As much as it is consolidating, it's creating higher highs and higher lows. So looking for buys is not also a bad thing, because you're moving according to the trend when you look at that, because we have not breaking anything. So we've been moving in higher highs and higher lows. As you can see, we created a high, and then we created a low, we created a higher high, and then just we came back to retest that area. So we might be creating a higher. So once I could say let's look at for sales, that's when it stops creating higher highs and lower lows. So at the moment it's creating higher highs and lower lows, so we're expecting this to continue buying. But if it fails to break that higher high, so if the market fails to break this higher high there, we see that it's struggling to break, I could say that's when we're gonna see something like this. So yes, it's creating higher highs just like that. So if it goes high and then it fails to break, but breaks this low there and manages to break that low there, we're just gonna come back just to retest, and that's when we're gonna continue seeing sells. That's as easy as that. So at the moment we're still on an uptrend, so let's not rush entering into buys, into sells. But if you're still in your buys, you can continue holding the buys. So I know people who entered the buys during the CPI can still continue just holding them just a little bit, and let's just wait for a proper structure. And then again, just looking at the 3 hours, that's something you can just look at. So just looking at the 3 hours, we see kind of a head and shoulder that formed. We see it's like this. That's the head, so that's the shoulder. So that is why I say we might be coming back just to retest that area as a shoulder for an entry, then to go for buys. So at the moment the head and shoulder is not that clear. The time precision, the time zones are not that accurate, but we see that it created a shoulder at 2 times. It created a shoulder at 1 o'clock, which is what we can take, but it also created a shoulder at 16 o'clock. So for me, the best times to enter would be either at 1 o'clock or at 4 o'clock, depending on if we are back here around those times. That would be the best time for me to enter sales. So yeah, that's the head and shoulder. And then if we look at the times, it created the head at 10 o'clock. So it created the head there at 10 o'clock. So it created the head at 10 o'clock. So again, if it did create the head at 10 o'clock, we might also be seeing something like a M formation that might be forming that's gonna take the market down. So I would suggest that also watch out for that area there, which is the 35,050 price level, but it will only be respected if this current candlesticks pushes until it reaches that area. That's when I'll say, okay, let me go for sales. Only if the 10 o'clock pushes until it gets to that area. But if any other time, maybe the 12, the 1 o'clock, it's above that area, I'm still going to continue with my buys, or the 2 o'clock, whatever time that's above this area there, that's when I'm still going to continue with my buys. So currently we're just looking at the 10 o'clock, how it moves. So we're hoping for it just to push just a little bit higher, either to that area, and then that's when maybe we can say let's take our risk and go for sales. So beyond that, I'm done with the 3 hours. So I have my supports, I have my resistances according to the 3 hour, and I realize that I'm still in an uptrend. So if I'm still in an uptrend, I'm still going to continue with my buys, and I have my resistances. So that's how I'm going to see how it closes, this candlestick, how it closes. Once it reaches to these different resistances, that's when I'm going to change my direction to go for sales. And coming back to the 1 hour, so on the 1 hour, we have a nice zone, which we see right there at the bottom. It's a minor zone, but we do consider it a zone. And we also have another zone. As we can see, we broke above it. So we're kind of getting a little bit of a push to the upside. And even looking at this on the 1 hour, we see this chart again, just looking at it on the 1 hour. We see that the chart seems like we got a break in market structure. We saw a break. So we saw a break, but this break was not that strong that to break below this. So it did break. So this area might be giving us some signals that we could be what is this thing doing? So saw a break, so it might be giving us some sales. But as I say, I want to see us breaking this low that we created first, closing below it, and that's when I'm gonna be taking my sales. But other than that, we're still on an uptrend. We haven't broken any lower lows yet, so let's not rush. So on the 1 hour, I have the key level, the 35,000 key level there. So the next key level is just there, which is the 750. So if we are looking for sales, if we are going to get some sales, that's the area now we should be looking out for. So, and if we do manage to break also that level, we might be looking for the lower level, which is the 250 level, which is the 250, which is below there. So those are what I'm seeing currently at the moment. And if we do look at seeing buys, it fails to break that area. So let's watch out for the 250 level. Let's watch out for the 250 level, which will be there. So coming to the 15 minutes, I'm gonna check only my 15-minute zones, and at the moment we don't have any zones at that area. So at that area we don't have any strong supports except us depending on the formation of the head and shoulders and the 35,000 key level. And but we do have a minor zone right there next to the 750 key level. So that's the zone that I say maybe if we do manage to see sales, that's where you can put your TP1. And if we manage to do break it, let's go for that area there. So I'm just going to end it there. So that's the analysis that we are expecting today. So by looking at repetitions of what has been happening throughout the week, let me see if I can spot some repetitions for you guys. So we're just gonna be looking at the 9 and then which was a Thursday. Is today a Thursday? Oh, I thought today was Wednesday all this time. I thought it was a Wednesday. So we see that on the Thursday, we saw market change direction in two places. So we saw, could say it's a similar thing. We saw market consolidating for a little bit of a while on last Wednesday. So we saw market doing the exact similar thing as what we are seeing today. So market just consolidating at that area and then giving us a fake out, but coming back to retest the high that it created. As you can see, coming back to retest the high that it created before giving us some long sells. So we see kind of a similar pattern here, but this is huge. So we see it consolidate and giving us a breakout there, but we might be coming back just to retest that and going for the sells. But if we check the times, we see that it happened at 3 or 4. So looking at the 3 or 4 or the 12 and 1. So that's something to look out for. But let's see here if that's the similar thing. But we see here it was a very different scenario here. But we saw the 12 and 1 acting as a nice change there. The 12 and 1, because we see it again also here, the 12 and 1 acting as a nice change there. So maybe the 12 and 1 is the change that we are looking for. So coming back to the Thursday there, we're just going to look at the 12 and 1. So we see a 12 and 1 again here being a nice change in market direction. And coming to the 19th, do we also see a 12 and 1 being the change in the market direction? So we see it again, 12 and 1 being the change in market direction. Also there, do we see a change? Again, 12 and 1 being a nice change. And also here, do we see 12 and 1? Here was not a major change, but we see it happening on the 12th and 19th, the 26th. Which is 3, 4, 5. So on the 6th, so our proper entry could be around 12. So we're thinking that we might still be seeing buys at this area there. So the market might be still trying to push to come to that area there. So at the moment, seems like the proper support that we should be looking out for is there, but at the particular time, so at 12 o'clock, that's the time that we could be looking out for, 12 o'clock. So what's the time now? As you can see, the time is 10:15, which is something that's going to happen around in 3 hours time. Can I count? No, it's 2 hours time, in 2 hours time. So let's just watch out for how 12 o'clock reacts. So if 12 o'clock fails to break any of this, before 12 o'clock we fail to break, that's when I could say, yeah, we could be looking for a change in market direction. Yes. Thank you.